Would you please welcome a good friend of the schools for all 40 of its years, and someone who epitomizes Chicago more than anybody, Studs Turkel.
Thank you. Thanks. This is a tribute to Stevie Goodman, who was a cockeyed wonder. When you think of Steve were an athlete, you say, he was a natural. Out of this crazy, goofy, wild, corrupt, rotten, yet creative and hopeful town, Chicago, came our bard. Our tiny bard, yet he was so big. If I were to choose one word to describe Steve Goodman, I'd say he was radiant. Like one of those 1,000-watt incandescent bulbs that lights up a darkened room. This morning I'm walking to the bus, and it's a rotten Chicago morning in November. And yet, for a moment, that sliver of sun was coming through and it hit my face, and it was springtime. That's Stevie Goodman. So, I was thinking, how do you describe him? If somebody came from some distant planet in the 21st century, what was he like? I'd say the word is a very deceptive one, simplicity. He's very simple, no hot dog, no showboating. There was no need, very much, I'd say, analogy to Spencer Tracy, the movie actor. When Spencer Tracy appeared on the screen, natural, into that role, many roles, you couldn't tell where he left off when the role began. And so with Steve Goodman, you couldn't tell off where he began and where the song took over. He was one. He was so effortless. And the other crazy comparison is with Joe Louis, the heavyweight champ of the world. Here's a kid, 115 pounds, dripping wet, and you compare him with a heavyweight champ. What they had in common was the fact they never wasted a punch. Joe Louis never swung roundhouse. He just was a jab that was needed, no more. And that was it. The guy was out. Steve sang a lyric, a song. That was it, and you were captured by it. And the other aspect of Steve that can never be denied was his generosity. His small body with so huge a spirit. So when Chris Christopherson comes through town a number of years ago, he hears Steve and he flips. He says, I got to take you to New York. Steve says, you ain't heard nothing yet. You ain't heard Johnny Prine. And that was Steve. Now here we are right now. We're celebrating Steve under the auspices of the Old Town School of Folk Music, a Chicago institution. Now, if Steve were here right now, he would celebrate somebody else. He'd have his guitar and sing of a big man, Win Strachey. Some of you may not know of Win. You're too young. And Steve would sing about this big basso profundo Win, who sang in operas, sang in concert halls, sang leader, also sang on picket lines when strikers were fighting for their rights, sang wherever the dispossessed were. Win said, there's got to be a place, not just a nightclub or a concert hall, a place, a community. And so the Old Town School came to be. Steve has that sense of community. We're here now. He'd speak of the Midnight Special in Reynard Strand. He'd speak of Earl Pianki and the Earl of Old Town. He'd speak of his colleagues, Bonnie Colac, of course, and Mike Smith. And when he sang Mike's song, The Dutchman, was the only song in the world. And Fred Holstein and all those. It was sense of community, Chicago. So whenever I hear that song, My Kind of Town, Chicago, is, I hear the voice of Frank Sinatra. What the hell does he know about Chicago? I mean, he is undeniably a remarkable singer. But it's Stevie's song. Who else could write the Lincoln Park Pirates? Laughing at the little crooks in our town who make our town the crazy town it is. Who else could sing a dying Cub fan's last request? It was Steve facing his own ultimate adversity, saying, there's one thing worse than death, being a Cub fan forever and ever and ever. And of course, who else could sing a song and write a song about his old man? It wasn't about Stevie's father. It was about all our fathers. And of course, who else could write a song about a train? Now, black people, of course, have that train all their lives. This train is bound for glory, this train. Steve Goodman's train, the city of New Orleans, was not about a city of New Orleans, not even about the train. It was about all the trains bound for glory. Naturally, I think of a guy, the greatest ballad writer of our century, Woody Guthrie, whose autobiography is called Bound for Glory. And Woody has a son, Arlo Guthrie. And Arlo is the bard today as his father was then. And so the bards are all on this stage and out there. It's as though Tom Joad says, we're all part of one big soul, so it doesn't matter. And so we hear that train now, Steve's song, and we're all bound for glory as Arlo Guthrie comes forth at the close.